I mean, there's a lot of confusion on currency and identity in the industry. We are not a currency, but we think of ourselves as an essential component to the currencies. Right now, there's a number of different currencies in the marketplace, and I think there's a lot of discussions on, is it going to be 20 currencies? Is it going to be 2 currencies? We're agnostic. We don't care how many currencies they are. We would like to be working with any partner that becomes the standard currency in the marketplace.
So there are also lots of identifiers out there that use different sources. If we're building currencies on identifiers, what's the best and most robust way to do that?
That's a good question as well. There's a lot of different types of companies in the ecosystem, from publishers to ad tech platforms to brands to agencies, and they all use, many of them use different identifiers. At TransUnion, we want to be multi-key, we call it, which is it doesn't matter what you want to transact on, we will have it in our identity graph. So whether it's name and address or IP or hashed email or mobile ID, we can transact on them all and we can translate them all, right? We essentially become the Rosetta Stone that sits in the middle of the ecosystem that can resolve data and move data effectively and efficiently with scale.
Translation between identifiers is going to be a challenge ongoing. How does TransUnion work to maintain fidelity in that process?
We take the fidelity is we take accuracy very, very seriously at TransUnion, and the entire graph, everything that we have, is broken down and reassigned every 15 minutes. In other words, nothing is stale. All of the identifiers are being remapped to each other and essentially validated every 15 minutes. We also have the luxury of having a really stable source of validation that we can qualify our data to make sure that, yes, this is in fact a male, or yes, this person does actually live here. So we're not just doing cross-validation, which is important, but we can use the assets that we have to do very clear validation of name and address, for example.
There's always seemingly a little bit of tension when it comes to identity graphs between scale and fidelity. Can you talk about how the industry might need to standardize that?
Yeah, I don't know if that will ever be standardized. Both of them are incredibly important, right? Scale is important, and if you can deliver scale, and everybody wins, right? The brand wins, the agency wins, the publisher wins. Everyone's happy when you deliver scale. Accuracy is obviously also very important, but there's a concept that's gaining momentum in the industry called configurable identity. And it really depends when you ask a partner, what are you trying to do? What is the use case? They may say it's measurement. I need it to be very, very specific. I need to know deterministically who bought or who responded or who bought my product. We can offer a version of the graph that is more deterministic, right? When they're trying to target people in neighborhoods that tend to own luxury automobiles, we can be more probabilistic for a targeting use case. So there's a concept that we could offer a graph that is configurable, and you twist the dial up or down depending on what your use case is and how you want to use the identity graph.
Lastly, how do you see the identity space evolving over the next few years, and what is that going to mean for currency?
It's a great question. Again, it's I think 2 things are going to continue. One, privacy and compliance are going to continue to be important, and I think TransUnion's in a really good place to accommodate that, right, and really lead it with a lot of our partners. That is one thing that's not going away, and I think it's going to be more important. The other thing that's becoming more important is transacting in different ways. We just announced a partnership with Snowflake with transferless identity resolution. That you're going to see that more. You're going to see big publishers that don't necessarily want to push their identity anywhere, but they need it. They need to resolve or match to client audiences. So how do you do that safely? How do you do it efficiently? I think there's going to be a trend moving toward more clean room solutions. TransUnion has a clean room, but we also partner with multiple clean rooms, and you're going to see identity resolution happening more and more in clean room environments.